He sat across the table, his brows furrowed in confusion, sipping his coffee slowly before finally asking the question, "Why do Muslims pray in Arabic?" It wasn't a question meant to offend, but rather one born of genuine curiosity. He had heard people praying in different languages around the world. So why this strict adherence to Arabic? The room fell silent for a moment. Then, with a calm smile, I began explaining that prayer in Islam isn't just a set of personal words. It's a sacred ritual passed down for over 1400 years, untouched, preserved. Arabic isn't just a language here. It's the vessel that carries divine revelation. The same exact words revealed to Prophet Muhammad P. are recited daily by millions. Exactly the same, regardless of geography, race, or background. That continuity binds Muslims in a unique spiritual unity. He blinked, slightly surprised. So it's more about preservation than preference. Or say, for mehr. That's all. I nodded. You see, Arabic is not just a tool of communication, it's a living part of the Quran. The Quran wasn't just sent as a message, but as a miracle in its original language. Translations can convey meaning, yes, but they can never capture the exact beauty, rhythm, or depth that the original Arabic holds. In Salah, the Islamic prayer, these words are not just read, they are experienced. Every syllable, every pause, and every intonation carries a spiritual weight that translations cannot bear. This isn't just about understanding the words, it's about surrendering to the divine language as it was revealed, unchanged and unfiltered. But what about those who don't understand Arabic? Is it abscrostov? If there were shopietos? He asked, genuinely puzzled. I smiled. That's a common concern, I replied. And it's true. Many Muslims may not be fluent in Arabic, but that doesn't lessen their connection to the prayer. In fact, most make a heartfelt effort to learn the meanings of the verses they recite, to internalize them. The act of repeating the same sacred words as every other Muslim creates a sense of oneness. No matter if you're in Jakarta, London, Cairo, or New York, you're speaking the same words to the same creator. That uniformity is profound. It's not a barrier, it's a bridge, uniting hearts in worship. I leaned in closer, lowering my voice slightly. Imagine 1 billion people in every corner of the globe reciting the same exact words at the same times of day. It's not just prayer, it's synchronization of the soul. That uniformity is what makes Salah one of the most powerful displays of unity humanity has ever seen. You might not speak the language of your brother in another land, but in prayer, you speak exactly the same divine verses. It's a feeling that goes beyond understanding. It's like your heart recognizes what your tongue may not. That's the miracle of Arabic in Islam. It's not merely a language, it's a spiritual code. He sat quietly for a moment, absorbing every word. But what about personalization? He asked. Can Muslims not speak to God in their own language? I nodded gently. Of course they can, and they do. Outside the structured 5 daily prayers, Muslims make dua supplications in whatever language their heart knows. Whether it's Urdu, Swahili, English, or Malay, the private conversations with God are free and open. But Salah is different. It's not just a personal moment, it's a divinely legislated act of worship with specific guidelines. It's not just about emotion, it's also about obedience. And in that obedience lies an unmatched beauty. He rubbed his chin, intrigued. So you're saying it's more like choreography? A ritual, I smiled. Exactly. Salah is a divine choreography of words, actions, and intention. Just as a symphony must follow the notes to produce harmony, Salah must follow the divine pattern to produce spiritual resonance. Arabic is the sheet music handed down by the divine composer. Change the notes, and you lose the harmony. The Arabic verses of the Quran are a spiritual melody written by Allah Himself. They were meant to be heard, memorized, and recited as they are. It's sacred, not flexible, because it's perfect. But isn't that difficult for converts? He asked. Then they struggled. I nodded, my voice soft with compassion. Yes, it can be overwhelming at first. But that's the beauty of Islam. It honors effort. Even if someone mispronounces, forgets, or struggles to recite, their sincerity is deeply valued by Allah. Many converts start with a few verses and gradually learn more. It becomes part of their spiritual journey. Arabic becomes more than a language. It becomes a part of them. It's not forced, it's embraced, one verse at a time, one prayer at a time. And slowly it begins to change them. He leaned back, looking more thoughtful now. So Arabic in prayer is not just about language, but also about discipline. Aides Rizim, Angels, I nodded. Yes. Discipline, structure, unity and preservation. The moment we open the door to personalization in Salah, we risk losing the unified essence. One person prays in their language, another changes the verses, a third innovates something else. And suddenly, what was once one ummah begins to fracture. Arabic preserves not only the words, but the identity of Muslim prayer. It holds us together in a world constantly trying to pull us apart. It's a rope we all hold on to. He exhaled deeply, visibly moved. I never saw it that way, he admitted. I thought it was just ritual for the sake of ritual. I smiled. That's a common assumption. But when you look deeper, you realize it's not just ritual. It's remembrance. It's not just repetition. It's reflection. The Arabic verses remind us every day of who we are, where we came from, and where we're headed. Even when life is chaotic, prayer grounds you. And doing it in Arabic connects you not just to God, but to centuries of believers who recited those same words in times of peace, war, joy, and grief. The coffee had gone cold now, but the warmth in the conversation lingered. So, would you say the Arabic language is sacred? He asked. In the context of prayer and revelation, yes, I replied. Arabic is a language Allah chose to communicate His final message. It's not a cultural bias. It's a divine decision. And we respect that decision by preserving it. Just like you wouldn't translate Shakespeare's plays into slang and expect the same emotion, we don't change Allah's words. We cherish them, protect them, and live them. That's why we pray in Arabic, because it's not ours to alter, it's His. He stared at the floor for a moment, then looked up slowly. I asked a simple question and got an answer that touched my soul, he said quietly. I could see something had shifted inside him. It wasn't just understanding, it was awe. The depth, the logic, the unity, the beauty, it had all sunk in. I always thought religion was about blind faith, he continued. But this is something else. This is discipline wrapped in devotion. And the Arabic, it's not just a language, it's a rhythm of the heart. And with that, he fell silent, his heart now part of the answer. He asked no more questions for a while. The weight of what he had just heard settled in his chest like a calm tide after a storm. I could tell his mind was racing, not with doubt, but with discovery. That's the thing about truth. When you hear it in its pure form, it doesn't need to shout. It simply settles deep within. Arabic wasn't just the answer to a ritual. It was the key to a deeper reality. It was the sound of revelation, the echo of the prophets, Fabu, voice, the language that once moved the mountains of Arabia and still moves the hearts of billions. When a Muslim stands in prayer and says, Allahu Akbar, it's not just a phrase. It's a spiritual declaration in the same tongue that the angels heard when the Quran first descended. That sacred echo continues through every prayer, unbroken, unshaken, unchanged. And then I told him something that truly made him pause. Do you know the Quran is the only scripture in history that is memorized cover to cover, word for word, in its original language by millions of people, many of whom don't even speak Arabic? His eyes widened. Wait, really? I nodded. Yes. From children in villages of Africa to elders in Indonesia. From prison inmates in America to scholars in Turkey, the Quran lives in the hearts of people. And it's all in Arabic. That's not just discipline. That's divine design. Allah promised in the Quran, "Indeed, we have sent it down as an Arabic Quran so that you may understand." And he also said, "We have certainly made the Quran easy for remembrance. So is there any who will remember?" The language is sacred, but access to it is a mercy. He slowly shook his head, overwhelmed in the best way. I never thought a language could carry that much power. I replied, "That's because in Islam, language isn't just a means of communication. It's a carrier of light. When you recite Surah Al-Fatiha, you're not just speaking words. You're opening a gateway. You're walking the same spiritual path that the Prophet PB walked. You're speaking the exact verses that Jibreel has brought from the heavens." There's a reason no translation is allowed to replace the Arabic in prayer, because the power is not just in the meaning, but in the divine sound. Even if someone doesn't fully understand it yet, their soul still recognizes the call. He leaned forward, listening as if every word were rewriting his understanding of Islam. Then I said, "Have you ever heard the Quran being recited beautifully, even without knowing the meaning?" He nodded slowly. "Yes." It gave me goosebumps. I smiled. That's the miracle. That's Arabic. It touches the soul before the mind can process it. It's not just eloquence, it's divine resonance. Allah chose a language that could pierce hearts across time, space, and culture. And when Muslims pray in that language, they're not just reciting, they're realigning, reconnecting, recharging. It's why Salah feels different. It's why the heart calms when the Quran is recited in Arabic. Because your soul recognizes the voice of its creator, and no translation can ever substitute that sacred intimacy. He looked down, then whispered, "So every Muslim, no matter where they're from, they're all returning to the same source." I nodded, my eyes soft. Yes, that's the secret behind the power of the Ummah. We may speak different languages, wear different clothes, eat different foods, but in Salah, we become one. One voice, one language, one message, one God. That's the beauty of Arabic in Islam. It unites us spiritually across borders and generations. Whether it's a Bedouin in the desert or a surgeon in London, when they say Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, they are echoing the same submission, the same awe. That's not just religion, that's divine harmony. And it starts with one language. The cafe around us was buzzing, but in that moment, it felt like silence embraced us. He was no longer curious. He was captivated. "So even though I don't understand Arabic," he said slowly, "it could still reach me." I answered with conviction, "It already has." That feeling you had when you heard the Quran, that was your fitra, your natural disposition, responding to divine words. You don't need to be fluent in Arabic for it to touch you. The more you open yourself to learning even a few words, the deeper that connection grows. Allah never burdens a soul beyond its capacity, but He invites every soul to grow closer. And Arabic, for Muslims, is one of the strongest ropes to hold onto that nearness. He finally smiled. Not the smile of politeness, but the smile of revelation. "Thank you," he said, his voice humble. "Phew. You didn't just answer my question, you gave me something to carry." I smiled back, knowing it wasn't me. It was the truth that carried itself. And as he stood to leave, I could see it. He would never hear Arabic the same way again. To him, it wasn't just a foreign tongue now. It was a living miracle. A key to divine connection. A sacred sound. And that, I realized, is the true beauty of Islam. When you explain it with sincerity, it doesn't just inform, it transforms. And so he walked away not just with an answer, but with a heart awakened. Because sometimes one question leads not to curiosity, but to conviction.